All right, we recording now. Okay. Hey guys, welcome to K Race League. So, yeah, I remember announcing this last week, and I have actually just now finished it all. So I figured, hey, why not go ahead and make the video for this because this is going to be a pretty quick video for the thing here today. So last week, I kind of talked about one is like little shower thought ideas of why not making an era before kind of the pre-Beamart era whenever like I started out racing Brett and Madison mainly of the first kind of three big drivers and everybody else who came in after 2010 throughout these rosters here in a year-long format. And there's no way for me to really tie in '09 to 2010 for why things went down so much with the drivers. But this was something kind of for fun, add on more drivers really, and add on more race wins. And just to add on a little bit more for fun racing history with the people that got me into racing a little bit, people I would have known back in these 4 years where I was still very young. Me myself in '06, I would have been 4 or 5 years old when these two seasons ran. Then right at six, turning 7 during this year, then debuting in 2010 as a driver in the CRL back in the way back in the day. And this also does kind of make this year kind of the 20th year of the CRL in general for everything going on in the series. Also, put us up to the 80th league season. Also, I do believe as well, I might have spoiled the champions in the last video I made, but I know no one really responded about it in that video. But I will say, though, there was at least one champion change from what I originally thought because I figured it'd be very entertaining to have this driver win. Also, this driver did also win the most races overall in this. I meant to make a separate list for who won the most races throughout this, but you'll kind of be able to see it, especially in the last season, because every driver in all 4 of these years did end up winning at least one race per season. And it was very interesting too with the season how they all played out as well. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'll go through all seasons first real quick. I'll just point out the crown jewel winners mainly and the championship battles a little bit, I guess, as well. But yeah, it was definitely very entertaining doing all this. I started this a little late last night. I did the first 2 seasons, took a break, came back earlier today, a little bit after the Dover race. And I just now finished at like almost 6 o'clock today over here, and I'm going to do some more room work stuff with some other NASCAR diecast. I got to put all the cars away and finally and everything. That was my plan. That was my main plan today, but of course, working on this too is another plan. Also, got my next run of baseball games I got to do too. But anyway, so starting off the series here in 2006, so we had the 2006 season, and we actually opened up with Daytona 500, and Slick Johnson wins the first race. I felt like based on the character name Slick Johnson kind of being a bit of a pretty good racing driver, I figured it would have made sense for him to win the first race in the series in the Daytona 500, and then the first dominant driver wins round 2 at Auto Club. Also, I will say this too, I got a little irritated with doing these races a little bit because the schedule was the exact same for the first 3 years. Now I see why people back in the day are complaining about NASCAR running the same races every single year because literally if you see, looking at these first 3 seasons here, they're all the same races. I actually copied 2010 schedule for 2009 because I got so tired of basically running the same track for those first 3 seasons. Then 2010 did spice it up a good bit, a little bit. But anyway, Daytona Slick Johnson's first race. Billy Yates gets the win there. Billy Bounce his first win at Las Vegas. First Atlanta race, no longer Caleb Kim getting first winner. Billy Yates first 2-time race winner. I think Caleb did also become the first 2-time race winner originally back in 2010. Ben Campbell's first win comes at Bristol. And then Chris Bartlett in Marsville, Bill Yates at Texas, and Jason Turner at Richmond. Your next Crown Jewel event with Darlington 7500 and all the Crown Jewels are the exact same in the order in all these 4 years. Billy Bounds wins that one for a second career win. And Heather Yates, my mom, gets her first win in the Coke 600. I figured out it makes sense. And, funny enough, we do have the Coke 600 next week. And I do have a good feeling I will win that race. Also, I will say, too, I did analysis on one of my socials earlier. I will be doing a broadcast for the Coke 600 if I win or don't win. But I do have a strong feeling I will finally get my first 600 win since 2017 next Tuesday. Yeah, I will run that race on Monday morning because I'll be off Monday, and then I will get the race recorded Monday night, and then I'll have it all out for y'all to see on YouTube Tuesday morning after I edit it Tuesday morning. But yeah, so Heather Yates won that one in Charlotte. Then Ty Stewart and actually no, Mindy Stevens is the last first time where had Ty Stewart. He's going to be a name you won't see a lot winning. He honestly kind of sucked throughout all the seasons here, honestly. And yeah, that's how it all went there. Yeah, then Indianapolis, your last crown jewel. Billy Yates does win the first Sprint Car 400. He would actually be the first two-time winner over Brett Campbell originally did, because Brett was really good at Indy back in the day. And yeah, this championship season, Billy Yates does ultimately end up winning this championship. This is really kind of first season to really just see how the drivers would all do here. And there was definitely a decent amount of parity even for the championship. Also, mainly all the championship battles, there was a lot of parity between the winners and the win total. It did take away from a lot of drivers who were in the lower end in the points here on this. But yeah, first season, Billy Yates takes on the championship. We'll look at all the wins and everything on the points at the end of this. Actually, I don't even have the points list anymore up. I don't really need the track wins anymore here either. But yes, 2007. So we have the Daytona 500 this year with Billy Bales getting the win. So there's a lot of Billies in these four seasons, by the way, as well. I'll let y'all know right now. Also, I'll know with Slick Johnson too. I decided to keep him being the inaugural Talladega winner because it felt right with the tribute scheme I ran the other week at Talladega. But yeah, Billy Bales gets the Daytona 500 win. Also, if I'm correct out of all the crown jewels, there was not a repeat winner in this era of the crown jewel races, so you will see a different winner. I mean, some drivers they'll win multiple crown jewels, I think Billy Bounce does it on two of the other ones. But yeah, you won't see like the same driver winning like Daytona two years in a row here. Las Vegas, Chris Barley gets first win here. As we get throughout season here, then this season, I don't remember a lot. I was kind of rushed through this one last night, just trying to get it done before I went to bed last night. And yeah, a lot of parity, like I said, popped up in the season, and ultimately at the end of this one, Chris Bartlett does end up being the winningest driver and gets the championship. I felt like this one made sense because my uncle more of a Chevy guy. This is before he was in the Stewart car going to Toyota in 2008, so I figured it made sense for him to get the championship in the Chevy in 2007. But yeah, Chris Barlett getting the championship, definitely a very interesting championship win, I would say so myself. And look at 2008. So this will actually be the first season with the COT car. So we did the Gen 4 for the first 2 years. Now onto the COT Toyota joining in as well, mainly the 20 car. And like I said, this will be the only year Chris Barlett will run in. And Chris Barlett would not actually have a great year in this season, actually. He'd have a really bad fall. However, my grandfather, Bill Yates, does win the Daytona 500. I figured it makes sense for him to get a 500 win somewhere. And then Ben Campbell. So this is going to be very interesting. So if you want to look up what the Wood Bros 21 car 2008, that car, spoiler ahead, was your championship winning car. And Ben Campbell ended up winning the season championship here. However, he definitely had a challenge from Billy Bounds here in this one. Throughout the season, Billy Yates kind of fell off in this one. He didn't really run too well this season, just like Chris Bartlett as well for the championship. But yeah, Billy Bounds, he was actually challenging for the wins lead actually in this moment, and then Ben Campbell ended up winning the championship at the end of the season. Like I said, so yeah, my dad would end up being the champion. And a fun fact going into 2010 with me winning the championship, me and my dad will be the only first father-son duo to win a championship. You know, the Hoovers never really had their father win a title. And a little bit of a spoiler down ahead, but that won't be the only father-son duo or father sibling group duo to have a championship. And this is where we're going to get to the champion. I did not put as a champion originally in the thought process for this series. So going in 2009, Billy Yates, Billy Bounds, Ben Campbell, and Chris Bartlett are all up there in the wins category for the wins lead. Everybody else kind of just running around there. And Jason Turner and Heather Yates, they did very well in this season, and I didn't really talk about them a lot in these here. And I didn't really talk about your crown jewels much here in these as well. Second draw, like say Chris Barley gets it. Then Billy Yates gets the Coke 600 right there. Indianapolis goes to Chris Barlett too as well in his championship run there. Darlington here was my dad Ben Campbell getting one, and then Chris Barlett at Charlotte, and then Indianapolis. That one went to my dad as well in 2008. So 2009. So Chris Barlett over the year Daytona 100. I figured it makes sense after he had a bit of a winless slide after winning a lot, and going back to Chevy with the 14 team. It made sense for him to tail end of the year with Daytona 500 win. Jason had a pretty good year. Ben Campbell, Billy Yates, Heather Yates winning. And, none of them ended up winning this championship in this one. And originally, I had Billy Yates winning the championship, by the way, in this one. We'll go through this easier. Many seasons get some more wins. Ty Stewart getting more wins. Bill Yates and Slick Johnson really nowhere to be found in this season. They both only won one race apiece. And Darlington does go to Minnie Stevens for herself getting a crown jewel win. This Coke 600 goes to my dad, actually. Originally, had Billy Bales winning this race, but I actually gave it to my dad instead. So, but it's still cool that my dad did get a Coke 600 win. And Indianapolis, Billy does get that one. He also went 3 wins in a row right here as we get down to the end of this season. So Billy Yates' last career win at Talladega. He only won once this season. Only season where he got 1 win. I think Slade Johnson did the same thing in this one as well, only winning at Michigan. And he's senior champion there. Billy Bounds won this championship. Also, he also ended up having the most overall wins among all the drivers here in this one. That was very interesting when I got to the end of all this. And most everybody else was like tied with 20 career wins a little bit. Some 14-time winners, 13-time winners here and there as well. So that was only the end of all that here. Here are your points finishes for all these seasons. So Billy Yates wins the first title, 7 wins all season. Also, no champion went 10 or more wins. So yeah, Cale Campbell still your first 10 plus win champion in a year long format in all this. Chris Bartlett, Billy Bounds, your podium in this year. Ben Campbell, they were mainly the top 4 for a lot of these seasons. Heather Yates, top 5 there. And yeah, so 2007, Chris Bartlett, 8 wins. Billy Bounds, 3 wins. 7 wins, I mean. And everybody else, like 3 to 4 wins there. Ben Campbell, Billy Yates, Heather Yates, your top 5. They the same top 5 first 2 years, by the way. And 2008, it does spice up a little bit. Ben Campbell gets that championship with 9 wins on the season. Billy Bounds gets 6 wins and another runner-up for him as well, I believe, as well. And Billy Yates gets 3rd. Heather Yates up to 4th. Jason Turner, his best points finish, a top 5 points finish with that. Yeah, then Chris Bartlett went from championship to 6th place in the points. Minnie Stevens, Slick Johnson, Billy Yates, and Ty Stewart. And your final season. So Billy Bounds, 7 wins over Billy Yates with 5 wins. Heather Yates, almost a runner-up with 5 career wins. And Madison Yates willing to breaking that best finish by a female driver pretty quickly, actually. I think she might have been 2nd in 2010. I don't remember. Or 2011. She was 3rd in 2010. But yeah, Chris Bartlett, 4 wins for him in a bit of a bounce-back season. And Jason Turner, Ben Campbell, Ty Stewart gets his best winningest season. And then Minnie Stevens, Slade Johnson, Billy Yates round out all the seasons. So, yeah, this was something very fun to do out here. And, of course, this did also add on to the win list overall for the league. However, I will show the Cup Series win list here for this one. Kayla Madison, Brett, Jake stay in touch, but Billy Yates jumps to 5th all-time in the wins with 34 career wins. Andre Crockett, Carter Limlin, Ben Campbell, Billy Bounds, and Chris Bartlett, your top 10 all-time. Elizabeth falls out of the top 10. And actually, in the overall wins category, Billy Yates does jump up with the most at 35 wins, just behind Eli Johnson with 36. Yeah, then Heather Yates, Jason Turner, Slick Johnson, they all jumped up a bit. And then only Mindy and Ty, they were a little down in the win list, actually. They weren't fully up there. But yeah, so that does also give us over 50 winners now in Cup, by the way, too. I just realized that as well. That's something very cool I just realized. But yes, that really does it here with this video. Thank you for watching the video here, going over the golden era of the CRL, the first kind of 4 seasons. And yeah, it was very cool to kind of do this here, have this little project here do over the last few days. And I'm glad I was able to get done pretty quick, so that way I wouldn't have to guess on who already had like the first win at certain tracks like Charlotte next week or the most wins in the 600 or whatever. But anyway, thank you for watching. Kill Wrestling signing out, and I'll see y'all in the next one.